right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. Now, the first story I wanted to talk about is a story that not a lot of people are talking about that came out of the Arnold Classic weekend and kind of got overshadowed by all the bodybuilding and strongman events. So every year at the Arnold, they hold various powerlifting meets. And one of those meets is a meet that Larry Wheels competed in. And at that meet, Larry Wheels set a brand new all-time world record. So he beat the previous record, which was held by Eric Lillibridge. So I want to be specific here and say that this was a record set with sleeves, meaning knee sleeves. So this brand new record, all-time world record at 308-pound weight class. He had an 870-pound squat, a 645 bench, which, by the way, is extremely impressive for someone with a build like Larry has, and an 855-pound deadlift. Again, this was beating Eric Lillibridge's previous record by just 0.1 pounds, with a 2,370-pound total, a 1,075 kilogram total, making it the new all-time world record, again, that being with sleeves. So I just wanted to start out this news video by pointing that out because I think a lot of people were so focused on the bodybuilding aspect of the weekend. A lot of people didn't hear or see this story, but I did want to give Larry Wheels a shout out in this video because it's always a big deal, obviously, when there's a brand new all-time world record. And I actually heard that Eric Lillibridge wasn't too excited about the fact that his record was beaten by 0.1 pounds. So maybe there's some beef there now. But hey, it's always good to start out a video with a strength and power story. Now, the next story that I wanted to talk about here is neither a bodybuilding or a powerlifting story, but I thought it was pretty interesting. So it was recently announced just a day or two ago that former NFL player Rob Gronkowski, a.k.a. Gronk, has signed a deal with the WWE. Now, there's a reason why I find this interesting, and I'll get to that in a minute. So, according to The Wrap, an insider with knowledge on the signing said that Gronk will make his WWE debut on the March 20th episode of SmackDown, which airs on Fox. So Gronkowski is already on the payroll of Fox, serving as an NFL analyst and commentator. So again, SmackDown is on Fox now. So this is not Gronk's first time appearing on the WWE. He made an appearance at WrestleMania 33, I believe, so a couple years ago. Now, here's why I wanted to include this story in this video, and here's why I find it so interesting. Number one, obviously because he's an NFL player making the transition to the WWE, always interesting. Number two is that reportedly he was supposed to have a role at this year's WrestleMania, WrestleMania 36. He was possibly going to have a match or some kind of appearance there at this year's WrestleMania. Now, the interesting thing is, with this massive health scare that you guys, I'm sure, all know exactly what I'm talking about, sweeping the world right now, WrestleMania 36 is scheduled for April 5th, less than a month away now. The Arnold Classic Expo was canceled about a week ago, and since then, a lot of other stuff has been canceled. A lot of big events, a lot of events where there's large gatherings of people due to fears surrounding this virus and this situation. With WrestleMania being less than a month away and expecting to attract like 90,000 people to that stadium in Tampa, I think there's a good possibility that WrestleMania is going to be canceled. I think we're going to see that announcement here in the next week. I mean, you guys probably saw in the news, the NBA canceled/suspended the rest of their season. I believe a lot of the MLB postponed their opening days. The Hockey League, the National Hockey League, postponed the rest of their season. But the NBA specifically, we're talking about $1 million, if not $1 billion decision to cancel that season. So something like WrestleMania, don't be surprised. Even though it's the biggest wrestling event in the world, everybody's excited for it. If you're even remotely a wrestling fan, pretty much everyone watches WrestleMania. I don't even watch wrestling on TV anymore, but I was going to watch WrestleMania. It's probably going to get canceled. But I think the other interesting thing to watch for over the next couple weeks, whether it's bodybuilding or wrestling, wrestling in general, their weekly shows attract a pretty large crowd just to that event. And in my state, Ohio, they recently banned any event that attracts more than 100 people. So I think you're going to see something like that start happening nationwide. And you could see pretty much, I bet you could see Raw and SmackDown be either taped with no audience or a lot of these shows just be canceled entirely. Scary stuff happening right now, and I'm sure it's probably going to impact the upcoming bodybuilding shows as well. Now, next up in the news, since we started out here with a Larry Wheels story, we also should include an Andrew Jacked story. So another implication of the Arnold Classic being canceled this weekend, or the Expo being canceled, probably led to the reason why Andrew Jacked didn't compete in Columbus, Ohio. He was planning on making his competitive debut at the Arnold Classic Amateur, and for whatever reason, he said it was visa issues. He didn't end up coming to Ohio and competing. But since then, in lieu of competition, he's been showing us basically his entire physique at this point, and how he was looking and is looking, prepping for that show. At 6'2", he says he weighs roughly 118 kilograms, which is about 260 pounds, which is a pretty big dude. Now, my understanding was he was planning on competing in Classic Physique, so I'm not entirely sure if he would have made weight for that weight class. But he looks phenomenal. I mean, he posted this kind of front relax post first, where you can see he's in tremendous shape. Then he also posted another one where he's hitting an abs and thighs shot. And that's the thing we're all wondering about, was his legs. And his legs look good. His proportions look good. It'll be interesting to see if he does still make a bodybuilding debut or a Classic Physique debut, and when and where he plans on doing that, because I think he could have made a pretty big splash at the Arnold Classic Amateur. So it's kind of a shame we didn't get to see him compete. Again, he is the training partner of Larry Wheels. That's where he gained a lot of his notoriety, and that's why a lot of people started following him. And as a result, a lot of people started tagging me in this guy's posts. And yeah, I think he looks pretty good. Now, next up in the news, we have Nathan DeAsha with the physique update. This was posted at 12 days out from the 2020 Arnold Classic Australia. Now, we know that Nathan ended up skipping the Arnold Classic Ohio, but he looks to be in pretty good shape and pretty good condition for the Arnold Classic Australia. And again, I think this is another thing to watch out for with the Arnold Australia just in a couple weeks now. You know, what's going to happen with this show? I mean, realistically, what's going to happen? I mean, we're all watching the news. We're all seeing what's going on with this health scare. Everybody's canceling events, man. It's a scary thing. I understand the fear, but they're canceling like everything. And this is changing so quickly, and there's so many new developments every day. Who knows in 2 weeks where this situation will be? You know, are they going to cancel the Expo? Right now, as far as I know, the Expo is still on. Could they cancel the show entirely and just tell the athletes not to bother coming? As you guys know, or probably saw or heard by now, Tom Hanks and his wife caught the virus in Australia. They tested positive in Australia. So this is going on over there too. And it's definitely something I think is worth talking about as a bodybuilding news channel. You know, I don't want to build fear because personally, I'm not afraid of it. I'm more afraid of the reaction to it. But it's something to talk about because I really believe the bodybuilding world is about to be impacted by this tremendously. You know, whether that's canceling major shows, canceling expos, holding more shows with no spectators. These things could happen, man. I mean, I think it's going to happen. You've got the Indy Pro coming up, the New York Pro coming up, the Arnold Australia, the Arnold South America. These are big shows, big gatherings of people. I think there's a high probability we could see some of these get canceled. But anyway, the point of that story was that Nathan looks phenomenal, and Big Ramy also recently confirmed that he is doing the Arnold Classic Australia. But again, this could be something outside of the control of the athletes, but right now, it looks like there's going to be a pretty good lineup there in Australia. And the final story that I have for you guys in this video today is going to be about Calum von Moger. Now, Calum is getting extremely close to this Jay Cutler Classic that he's competing in, attempting to get back into the swing of competing, and with the goal of earning, eventually, that Classic Physique Pro card and eventually the Classic Physique Olympia. Now, the thing that's impressed me most about Calum von Moger is how he's rebuilt his physique, particularly his upper body. I mean, you guys saw, after all those injuries, how atrophied his physique was and how downsized he became. He almost looked like he was natural, just like me or some of you. But now, not only has he regained most of that size in his upper body, most of that fullness and roundness, he's conditioning it. He's vascular. He looks dense. He looks hard. He looks grainy. But the question, again, for me, is how those legs are going to look on stage. I think the leg injury, that patella tendon rupture or tear, was the most severe of all his injuries, and I think it's going to be hard to get those legs back. But I am impressed by the upper body that he's been able to recomposition, and I am looking forward to seeing his debut, or his return, rather, to the competitive stage, and watching him attempt to go down that journey of getting his pro card. So best of luck to Calum von Moger. I hope you guys enjoyed all these stories today. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed already. And as always, Nick Strength and Power, signing out.